The council chamber of the Andron Collective was unlike anything humans had seen before. It stretched high into the sky, with walls that shimmered in soft shades of gold and green. Light floated in without a source, and the floor was smooth, reflective, and almost alive underfoot. Every species of alien that could be imagined filled the room. Some had scales, others fur, and a few had shapes that made humans' heads ache to comprehend. They sat in carved chairs, hovering platforms, or sometimes no chair at all, hovering in the air. They watched as the humans entered. Captain Liam Harper stepped forward first. He was tall and strong, with a calm look in his gray eyes. Behind him were 4 crew members: Grace, a sharp-eyed pilot; Nate, who could repair anything that broke; Maria, a linguist who could speak dozens of alien languages; and Luke, the security officer, steady and alert. They did not wear fancy suits or alien-style robes. They wore simple uniforms, neat but practical. Their presence alone made the chamber quiet. "Welcome, humans," said a voice that came from the center of the room. It belonged to Torak, a tall Zainari with 4 eyes and skin that changed color depending on his mood. He leaned forward on his hovering chair, studying Liam with curiosity. "We are honored that you came to negotiate with us. Perhaps you understand that this council is complicated." Liam nodded slightly, his hands resting calmly at his sides. "We understand complications," he said in clear, strong English. His voice carried easily, and even through the translator, it sounded firm. "We are here to speak for our people. We are also here to listen," the aliens murmured among themselves. Most were not used to humans speaking so plainly. Usually, other species arrived at these meetings with bows, with long speeches, or with promises to yield. But humans simply stood there, confident and silent. And that was frightening in a way no one expected. Torak's second in command, a small, crab-like creature called Myra, clicked her claws nervously. You are not afraid?" she asked. Her voice was high-pitched, like the squeak of metal against metal. She had heard stories of humans being aggressive in combat, but this was different. They were calm, yet the room felt tense because of it. Liam looked at her. "Fear is not a useful tool in negotiation," he said simply. He did not sound rude. He sounded like someone stating a fact, and that fact alone made the aliens shift uncomfortably. Another delegate spoke up. She was a tall, slender humanoid with blue skin named Celia. "You understand that we have many demands. Systems you call sectors are under dispute. You may not want conflict, but the galaxy is filled with rules. Our species have rules. Do you intend to follow them?" Liam's gray eyes scanned the chamber. "We do not intend to break rules," he said slowly, "but we will not follow rules that are unfair. Every species here is important. Every species has a voice. We will speak for ours, and we will listen to yours. But nothing will be forced upon us." When Teen 4 also Ender sang. A low rumble of disagreement moved through the room. Several delegates began shouting at once. Alien languages mixed into a strange, high-pitched, deep-throated, clicking symphony. It was confusing and almost overwhelming. Humans rarely raised their voices in these negotiations. They rarely yelled. Instead, Liam held up a hand. The room quieted, as though the human's presence had the power to calm the chaos itself. "Sit," Liam said. His voice was calm, but it carried authority. Slowly, the chamber quieted. Aliens looked at one another with surprise. Humans did not demand much. They did not scream or threaten. They just existed in a way that made others pause. Grace stepped forward. "We are here to find solutions," she said, speaking carefully. "Solutions that work for everyone. But we will not accept threats or tricks. We will not be pressured." At that, Celia's eyes narrowed. You think you can speak like equals with the galaxy's greatest powers?" she asked, disbelief clear in her tone. Liam's lips curved slightly, just enough to suggest a small smile. We speak as equals because we are humans. And humans survive. No matter the odds. We do not bow. We do not hide. And we do not forget. The chamber became very quiet. The aliens had heard rumors about humans, stories of battles, of worlds conquered and defended, of humans surviving disasters that would have ended most other species. But to hear humans say it so plainly, without threat or arrogance, was different. It made many of the delegates uncomfortable. Myra clicked her claws again. You are brave, but do you understand the consequences? If you make the wrong choice, if you upset the balance of power. Her voice trailed, but the threat was clear. Liam nodded. We understand consequences, but we also understand ourselves. We will not act in fear. We will not act against what we know is right. The room fell into a tense silence. Aliens whispered in corners, some waving their limbs nervously. The humans did not speak again immediately. Instead, they looked around. Nate adjusted his uniform, Maria observed the chamber with quiet calculation, and Luke's eyes scanned for threats. They were calm, but they were ready. Finally, Torok leaned forward. You are different from the others, he said. Most species arrive here with flattery or threats. You speak with neither. You are confident. Perhaps too confident. Liam looked at him steadily. Confidence is not the same as arrogance. Confidence is knowing what you are capable of. Arrogance is thinking you are better than others. We are confident. We do not think we are better than anyone, but we will not be ignored. Celia's thin fingers flexed nervously. And what if the other delegates do not accept your words? What if the council turns against you? Liam smiled faintly. Then we speak. And we leave. We do not follow rules that are unfair. We do not accept deals that harm our people. We do not bend for fear. For a moment, the chamber seemed to pause. Delegates stared at him. Some with disbelief. Some with anger. And some with admiration they tried to hide. The humans were simple. Their language was simple. Their gestures were simple. But their message carried a weight the galaxy had not anticipated. Grace moved forward, her voice calm and clear. We are here to negotiate. But we will not compromise our principles. We are ready to talk. But we are not ready to surrender. Torok studied them. He had faced many species in these chambers, but none like this. You have spirit, he said slowly, perhaps more than we expected, but spirit alone will not save you if the galaxy decides to act against you. Liam's eyes did not waver. Spirit alone will not save anyone. Knowledge, courage, and action do. And humans have all three. We will act when needed. But we will not act in fear or anger alone. That is the difference. The other delegates whispered again. Words were exchanged too fast for humans to hear, but the tension was clear. For years, the council had operated under the assumption that humans would bend, that humans would be easily intimidated. This assumption was now shattered. Luke's voice, low and steady, added, We are not here to fight today. But we are ready if it comes. That is enough for us. The chamber grew quiet again. Some delegates left their seats, whispering to their neighbors. Others looked at the humans as though seeing them for the first time. The humans did not move aggressively. They did not raise weapons. They just stood, silent but unyielding. Finally, Torok spoke again. Very well. You will have your chance to speak. But know this. Many eyes are on you. Many will try to sway you, deceive you, and pressure you. Do not think your calm will protect you. Liam nodded once. We do not need protection from calm. We need understanding. And that is what we seek. And so, the council meeting began. Hours would pass. Aliens would try tricks, promises, and threats. But humans would not yield. They would speak their truth simply, plainly, and firmly. And in that simple act, they began to unsettle the galaxy. Every gesture, every word, and every moment of quiet confidence sent a ripple through the chamber. By the time the first session ended, no one could deny it. Humans were unlike anything the council had expected. Not weak, not foolish, and certainly not afraid. They were a species that walked in the room as equals and demanded to be treated as such. And somewhere in the hearts of many alien delegates, a seed of fear had begun to grow. The humans left the chamber, not with anger or triumph, but with steady steps and calm minds. They had not won anything yet, but they had shown that they could not be ignored. And for the first time, the galaxy trembled not because of weapons, but because of humans who refused to bow. After leaving the council chamber, Liam and his crew walked slowly down the long hallways of the Andron Collective's space station. The walls glimmered softly with energy that seemed alive, and strange plants floated in the air, moving gently as if they were aware of every passerby. The humans moved without hurry, their steps calm, their expressions steady. Grace looked out the window and saw fleets of alien ships hovering outside, their metal shining under the distant suns. "They are watching us," she said quietly. Her voice carried no fear, only observation. "They want to know if we will falter." Liam nodded. "Let them watch. Observation does not harm, and we will not falter." Nate checked the side of the ship, his hands moving over tools and instruments. "I've never seen technology like this," he said. "Everything is connected. Their systems are different from ours, but that's fine. We are ready for whatever comes." Maria's eyes were on the scanners. "I think the council will try to manipulate us," she said. "They have already begun whispering among themselves. The other species are not used to humans who speak plainly and do not fear." Luke adjusted his stance and scanned the corridor. "They may not use weapons yet, but they are watching for weakness. We must remain alert." "AP." Liam stopped and looked at them. "Weakness is in hiding fear, not showing it. Humans have survived worse than politics. That is what sets us apart. They will learn soon enough." Back in the council chamber, alien delegates returned to their seats, murmuring in frustration. Many species had expected the humans to yield, to agree to compromises that would favor the powerful races. Instead, humans had spoken simply, clearly, and without submission. Their calm confidence unsettled even the most experienced diplomats. Ambassador Celia whispered to Toruk. "They are dangerous," she said. "Not because they are violent, but because they are unpredictable. No one knows what they will do next." Toruk's skin shifted to a deep purple, a color indicating concern. "They understand the galaxy differently. They value truth and fairness. That is foreign to most species here. They do not fear consequences in the same way. That makes them dangerous." Meanwhile, in a private chamber, the humans discussed the next steps. Liam laid a hand on the table, leaning slightly forward. "We do not need to be aggressive," he said. "Aggression will come if we fail to act with intelligence. Our strength is in calm, in clarity, in knowing what we want, and not bending for fear." Grace nodded. "We have already unsettled them. Their whispers are proof. They do not understand humans yet, and that gives us an advantage. We can guide the conversation without being pushed into traps." Nate adjusted his tools, tapping the side of a console. "They will test us. Expect questions designed to confuse or scare us. They will try alliances and threats. But humans think differently. We see patterns, and we act on them. That is why they fear us." Maria spoke quietly. "Communication is key. I can read their words and gestures. The council is trying to control the pace, but humans are not afraid of time. We can wait, and we can choose the moment to act." Luke's eyes narrowed. "We must be ready physically as well. If talks fail, they may try intimidation, or worse. We cannot underestimate them." Liam stood straight, his gray eyes calm. "Then we prepare for everything, but we do not let fear guide us. That is the human way. We survive because we do not panic, We survive because we act with purpose. In the council chamber, the aliens began a private session. They whispered in complex languages, clicking, hissing, and humming. Many species debated among themselves. "Humans cannot be bullied," said one delegate, a reptilian with sharp scales and long claws. "We must rethink our approach." "Yes," said another, a floating jelly-like creature. "Their calm is unsettling. They speak clearly, without exaggeration, without deception. That is something we do not handle well. We need a new strategy." Torok's 4 eyes narrowed. "Do not underestimate them. They may be simple in appearance and speech, but that is the danger. Their simplicity hides a resilience we cannot predict. We must act carefully." Back with the humans, Liam walked to the observation deck. He looked at the stars and planets passing by the station. "The galaxy assumes fear, and rules will guide us," he said softly. "They are wrong. Humans survive because we see clearly, because we choose carefully, because we refuse to be controlled by fear." Grace joined him, leaning slightly against the railing. "They are already afraid," she said. You could see it in their eyes in the chamber. Even Torok was unsettled. They are used to bending others to their will. Humans, we do not bend. Liam smiled faintly. And that is the difference. Not strength, not weapons. Just knowing who we are and not pretending otherwise. They will learn that soon. Maria came over, holding her data pad. The council is preparing more questions. They will test every principle we have. They will try deception, threats, and promises. We must respond with truth and clarity. Luke's voice was steady. And we must stay alert. They may try more than words. Some species are cunning, and their patience is long. We cannot assume safety and calmness. Liam nodded. Safety is never guaranteed. But integrity is always ours. That is what humans carry. That is why we survive. That is why they fear us. Hours passed. The humans continued to observe, to prepare, and to discuss quietly among themselves. They did not panic. They did not shout. And they did not bow. Instead, they studied the chamber, the delegates, the patterns of speech, and the hints of hidden threats. Every movement, every whisper, every pause was noted. Humans were patient, and that patience unnerved the council. Finally, the council reconvened. Torok spoke, his voice calm but tense. Humans, the council has questions for you. Some will be simple. Some will test your patience. Some will test your limits. Are you ready? Liam's response was steady. We are ready. Speak your questions, and we will answer honestly. The first question came from Celia, her blue fingers flexing nervously. If we offer you our systems, under our rules, will you accept them? Liam shook his head slowly. We will not accept deals that are unfair. Every system, every world, every being has value. We do not accept conditions that harm others for our gain. That is not negotiation. That is coercion. A ripple of surprise moved through the chamber. Few species had refused offers so clearly, so firmly, without fear or hesitation. Most species expected flattery, bribery, or silence in response. Humans gave none. Torok leaned forward. And if the council pressures you, if we threaten you, what will you do? Liam's gray eyes met his. We do not fear threats. We consider them. We act with knowledge and courage. Threats alone will not guide our actions. That is the difference. Myra clicked her claws nervously. They do not understand fear, she whispered to another delegate. They do not respond as expected. It is dangerous. The humans answered question after question, never raising their voices, never showing anger, never showing fear. Every answer was calm, firm, and clear. They did not overcomplicate. They did not exaggerate. And they did not submit. By the end of the session, Alien delegates were whispering again, trying to understand how humans operated. Some were frustrated. Some were impressed. Some were afraid. For the first time, the Council realized that humans were unpredictable in a way that weapons or fleets could not measure. Back on the observation deck, Liam turned to his crew. They are watching us closely now. That is good. They will try more. But we know who we are. We do not bend for fear. We do not bend for power. We bend only for truth. Grace smiled faintly. And that is what terrifies them. Not our strength, not our weapons, but the way we think, the way we survive. Nate tapped the side of the console. They will try to trap us. I can feel it. But humans are ready. They do not scare easily. They do not give up. That is why we win, even before the battle begins, Maria added softly. They are underestimating us. That is their first mistake. Humans survive because we do not assume limits. We do not bow to fear. We do not act for show. We act with purpose. Luke's eyes scanned the stars. And they will continue to underestimate us. That is fine. Let them. That gives us space to act. We are ready. No matter what comes next. Liam nodded, looking at the stars far beyond the station. The galaxy is changing. They do not understand humans yet. They assume fear will guide us, or greed, or submission. But we follow our own path. And that is enough to make the galaxy tremble. As the humans prepared for the next session, a quiet tension filled the station. Alien eyes followed them at every turn. Ships outside the station hovered and waited. Whispers spread through the council chambers, growing louder. Humans had walked into the council without fear. And that alone had started a ripple across the galaxy. It was only the beginning. The humans returned to the council chamber the next day. The air inside was tense. Thick with whispers and cautious glances, alien delegates hovered, shifted, and clicked their claws in nervous movements. Something about the calm confidence of humans disturbed them. They had expected fear, hesitation, or at least some sign of uncertainty. Instead, humans stood like mountains, steady and unyielding. Torik's four eyes focused on Liam. Today, we test you further, he said. We have rules and expectations that must be followed. You may not understand them, but you must respond. Every word matters. Every answer will be observed. Are you ready? We have rules and expectations. Are you ready? Liam nodded, his gray eyes steady. We are ready. Speak your questions, and we will answer. The council began with a series of small tests. They asked about human history, their alliances, and their experiences in previous conflicts. The humans answered simply, truthfully, without exaggeration or hidden meaning. Every answer was measured, honest, and calm. Some aliens whispered to each other in disbelief. You are too straightforward, Myra clicked. No one answers so plainly. They hide motives, exaggerate truth, play games. Humans, they are dangerous. Celia's fingers flexed nervously. Their simplicity hides knowledge, she said. They understand more than they show. They are not to be underestimated. After the small tests, the council moved to more complicated questions. They tried deception. One delegate, a large creature covered in armor-like scales, asked, If we offer you the rights to a resource-rich world, under our terms, would you agree? Liam shook his head. Only if the terms are fair to all who live there. We do not take advantage of others. We do not accept deals that harm anyone. The alien delegate's eyes narrowed. But it is a gift. If you refuse, you lose opportunity. Why would you refuse? Opportunity that harms others is not an opportunity. It is a trap. Humans do not take traps, Liam replied. Whispers spread through the chamber. Few species had ever refused an offer so clearly, so firmly, and without fear. The room buzzed with confusion, and unease. Then the council tried threats. A group of tall, thin aliens with long, sharp limbs leaned forward. "If you refuse to cooperate," they hissed, "we can take action. Our fleets are powerful. We can force you to comply." Liam's expression did not change. Threats do not guide humans. We act based on knowledge and purpose. If action is necessary, we take it. If it is not, we do not. That is the difference. A low rumble moved through the chamber. Some delegates recoiled. Others whispered quickly. And Torok's skin shifted to a deep red, showing concern. None had expected humans to respond this way. None had expected humans to remain calm, firm, and unshaken. Grace stepped forward, her voice steady. "We are not here to fight. We are here to negotiate. But we will not yield to fear or pressure. That is not negotiation. That is coercion." A few delegates shifted in their seats. They had tried intimidation, deception, and offers of wealth, but nothing worked. Humans did not react in fear. They did not react in anger. They reacted with clarity. Then the council moved to tests of patience. They delayed proceedings, asked endless questions, and tried to confuse the humans with complicated language and unfamiliar terms. Many delegates spoke in rapid succession, trying to overwhelm them. Maria leaned forward, taking careful notes. "We must answer simply, clearly, and without hesitation." Liam nodded. "Exactly. Humans do not panic under pressure. Confusion does not guide us. Knowledge does. Clarity does. That is why we survive." The humans answered every confusing question with calm precision. When a delegate tried to use complex rules to trick them, Liam and his crew paused, considered the question, and gave a clear response. Nothing they said gave away fear, frustration, or anger. Luke's voice was quiet but firm. "They are testing limits. But humans are patient. We see patterns, and we act carefully. That is the difference." Hours passed, and the council tried every tactic they could imagine: bribes, threats, deception, trick questions, and intimidation. Nothing worked. Humans remained calm, observant, and unyielding. Every delegate began to understand that humans operated differently than any other species. A small, floating alien spoke finally, its voice trembling slightly. "Why do you not fear us? Why do you not react like others?" Liam looked at it with calm gray eyes. "Fear is only useful when it guides you correctly. Panic is never useful. Humans survive because we act with knowledge, courage, and purpose. We do not act out of fear. That is why we are still here. Still standing. Still negotiating." Torok leaned back slightly. "They are unpredictable. Dangerous. But not violent. Yet, the humans had proven that they were not easily intimidated, not easily tricked, and not easily controlled. But the council was not finished. They decided to test the humans in a way that would make most species panic, by challenging their principles. A reptilian delegate spoke. "If following your principles puts your people at risk, will you compromise?" Liam's answer was firm. "Principles guide action. Compromise is only acceptable if it does not harm the innocent. Humans do not abandon what is right for convenience. That is why we survive." Another alien hissed. "And if we take action against you, if we attack your people, what will you do?" Liam's eyes were steady. "We will protect our people. We will act with strategy and courage, but we will not act out of blind anger. That is the difference between survival and destruction." Whispers spread through the chamber. The delegates began to realize that humans were not like any other species they had faced. They could not be bullied, bribed, or tricked. They could not be predicted. Celia's voice trembled slightly. "They're calm. It frightens us. They are not afraid. They do not yield. They survive because they think differently than anyone else." Grace spoke quietly to Liam. "They are beginning to respect us. Or maybe they fear us. Either way, They are learning that humans are not like other species. Liam nodded. Let them learn. We do not need to intimidate. We simply exist, and they understand that we are not easily moved. That alone changes the game. Then came the most difficult test. The council arranged a simulation of a conflict. Alien delegates created a scenario where humans had to make a choice that could endanger them or others. The room watched closely, eager to see if humans would panic, lie, or act impulsively. Liam and his crew faced the simulation calmly. They assessed the situation, considered consequences, and acted with precision. No one panicked. No one hesitated. Every action was measured and thoughtful. The simulation ended with humans avoiding unnecessary loss and solving the problem efficiently. The room fell silent. The aliens had expected chaos, mistakes, or hesitation. None came. Humans had acted calmly, decisively, and without fear. The council realized that humans were not just different, they were remarkable. Torak's skin shifted again, this time to a deep violet. They are unlike anything we have encountered, he said. They survive because they do not fear. They act with clarity. They cannot be predicted. That is dangerous. In and experience, I mean the 22,000. They survive because they do not fear. They survive. They survive because they do not fear. Myra clicked her claws nervously. They do not yield to threats. They do not lie. They do not panic. How do we deal with that? Celia whispered. We cannot. They operate on a level we cannot comprehend. Their simplicity hides intelligence and courage that is terrifying. Back with the humans, Liam addressed his crew quietly. They will continue to test us. They will try everything. But remember this. Our strength is not in weapons, not in fleets, but in knowledge, courage, and clarity. That is why we survive. That is why the galaxy fears us. Grace smiled faintly. They are starting to realize it. You could see it in their eyes, in the simulation. They cannot control us. They cannot predict us. That is enough to unsettle them. Nate nodded. They will try more. They will use deception, manipulation, and perhaps threats we cannot see yet. But humans are ready. We survive because we adapt, because we think, and because we do not panic, Maria added softly. They are underestimating humans. That is their first mistake. They assume fear, submission, or greed will guide us. But we act differently. That is what gives us power. Luke's eyes scanned the room, and they will continue to underestimate us. That is fine. Let them. We are ready for whatever comes next. As the council adjourned for the day, the humans left the chamber. Their steps were calm, their expressions steady. Alien delegates watched them go, whispering among themselves. They had tried every test, every trick, and every threat. Humans had passed them all without fear, without compromise, and without deception. It was clear now. The humans were not just another species in the galaxy. They were different. They were strong in ways that others could not measure. And that difference was beginning to shake the council to its core. For the humans, it was only another day. They had survived, observed, and acted with clarity. For the council, it was a warning. Humans did not follow the rules of the galaxy. They followed their own, and that alone made them a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy would never look at humans the same way again.